This is In the City Origins by Sherwood Games. The basis of the game is that the king of the city has just died, so you must take up the role of one of the prominent leaders of the city to vie for control and become the new king. To start the game, each player draws 3 random leaders and chooses one of them to use for that game. We have the Conclave of the One, the Lord of the Land, and the Madam Death for our draw. Let's pretend we are Madam Death for a minute. We compare our influence, which is the money bags, to the shields of the guys in the bottom row. Let's say we recruit the drunk man. The next card slides down, next card fills in the city square, and then it's the next person's turn. Once it gives back to us, we have a total of 4 influence, 3 from Madam Death and 1 from the drunk man. This time, let's take the deadly woman. Again, the next card slides down, and a new card enters the city square. Now we're up to 7 influence. As you can see, our influence keeps increasing. This is important because as cards come out later on, they require a lot more influence to recruit. This one is 10, this one's 14, this one's 21. At the bottom of your cards, you can see that there are crowns. The crowns are your victory points, so at the end of the game, whoever has the most victory points wins. This pulls you in 2 directions, because on the one hand, you need influence to get the bigger and better creatures. On the other hand, you need victory points to win the game. Now let's talk about leaders. Madam Death has the turn ability to destroy other cards. Turn abilities can be used once a turn at your discretion. You can use them, but you don't have to. Normally, you can only recruit from the bottom row, but Madam Death can kill cards, which allows the card above it to immediately slide down, so she could then recruit it. This kind of gives her a limited access to the back row. She can also use her power to deny other players by destroying cards she does not want them to get. The Lord of the Lance has no powers, but he starts at 6 influence, so he has a strong early game advantage, but it kind of peters off later on. The Conclave of the One gets extra victory points for each creature of a color that she chooses at the end of the game. This makes her a collector of sorts. In the city square, we have 3 more abilities. First, we have enlist abilities. These are one-shots that happen when you get the card. So the Homeless Monk lets you get a free 0 prestige creature when you get him. The Assassin lets you kill 2 cards in the city square, etc. Next, we have sacrifice abilities. This time, you get the card, and at some later point, you get rid of it to use the effect. For example, the Man of Tricks is sacrificed so that you can switch 2 cards in the city square. Last, we have static abilities. These abilities just turn on whenever the conditions are met. Fearsom's Cohort is worth an extra 2 influence once you get up to 5 creatures. The game is over when 2 columns are completely empty, both in the deck and in the city square. The game will end at the end of the round so that everybody has an equal number of turns, and any player that does not go first will get +1 influence on their first turn to compensate them for letting another player get first crack of the cards. Finally, we have mercenary cards. These cards are all exactly the same, but they don't enter the city square until the first tier 2 enters, giving them a kind of delayed entrance. Thank you for listening about In the City Origins. This is Duncan Davis signing off.